It's a visit with a person of high strangeness. This is August 2009. Some things never change, and today we're going to revisit something that hasn't changed. What I'm going to share with you today is Spooklights of Joplin, Missouri. The original footage was edited by Clarence Moore, and it was actually nominated for an award at the International Film Festival in Joplin, Nevada. There's a helicopter. Always have noise. It's right over my house, can you believe it? It's the government. Oh. Okay, it's getting quiet. Here's the thing. Since President Obama has been in office, the PRG group, that's a group of people that like full disclosure, and they've been kind of after the president to open some of their files and tell us some of the things that's going on. And as of yet that hasn't happened, but we're a little closer than we were. Most of the countries have, in the meantime, released their UFO information. England, India, Brazil, Mexico, so we right behind it. I'm going to show you the Spooklights of Joplin, Missouri. And, hey, I had to get the phone. People always call me just as I get the busiest. What I want to tell you is the Spooklight footage, in the meantime, has been used by scientists to determine what they, where they are, how they're located, and from what I understand, they have hooked it to a GPS, and they can now locate them if they want to. So, so I thought I will show you that, and it's a lengthy clip. We got the best pieces of everything with an explanation. So chances are I won't even tell you goodbye, but I wanted to share that with you because that's one of those storylines that's never going to change, and I was really happy that we were able to do that, and we're going to put this show on MySpace, so you can enjoy it from there on too. So come right along, Spooklights, Joplin, Missouri. At the Museum of the Strange and Unexplained, and earlier in the month I had introduced you to some of the scientists that are involved with the museum, and I mentioned one of them was Dr. Robert Gibbons, and so today we kind of confiscated him for a time period, and so I'd like for you to say hello to Dr. Robert Gibbons. How are you?
Oh, just fine. Glad to talk to you today.
We met very briefly in Joplin. In February, no?
Right.
Yeah. But except I didn't really know the intensity of your function here with the museum at that time. I was just sort of passing through. And so we'll go through the museum in a few minutes. I understand your legacy is the Spooklights.
Right. That's really why I came down here when I learned of the museum in September of 2000. In the first newspaper article, it mentioned the Spooklight was one of the things featured. I did my science fair project in 1961 on the Spooklight. I came in second prize in the Southwest Regional Science Fair, and then I shot the motion picture footage that was shown in 1982 on the network show Real People. So I've studied the Spooklight probably since the late 50s, and certainly very intensely since 1960, 61.
Yeah, that's a long time. Yeah.
It has been, and it's been very interesting, and we had a trip to the Spooklight last night.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go with that. So we had another spin on it.
Right, it's a whole new ballgame right now, because the Spooklight has moved 3 times in the past 100 years, and it usually happens when something is done to the roads. The roads are cut through the woods, or they're added onto, and this is what we found last night. The road that the Spooklight's been seen for the past, let's say 40 years, we call it the new Spooklight Road, has been extended. And now you have an overlook where you're actually looking over the Spring River Valley, looking into Oklahoma, and we, instead of seeing just one Spooklight down the end of the road, which is what I was familiar with for the past 40 years, we saw 4 or 5 in a line across the ridge, which is just a tremendous new addition to our story.
Well, then, of course, when we came in here this morning and viewed it, there was a lot of excitement Yeah, it was you could just feel it.
Well, it was a lot of excitement last night because we went down with Dr. Gilbert Jordan and his wife and I and your cameraman. We went down to the Spooklight.
Shiny Uncle.
And Dr. Jordan had never seen it, and it's just like a kid. If you see the enthusiasm on the tape, the first time to see it, and then I was enthusiastic because it was totally different than what I had seen.
Well, I missed it. I was too pooped. We had
well, you got to see the video, and it is spectacular video.
Wonderful.
Spectacular video.
Yeah. So now let's go backwards for a minute. I guess you did tell me how you got involved with the museum here, and we did extensive interviews with Bob White.
Right, like I said, I came down in September. I came down opening week, and I donated to the museum. First, I donated a number of my Spooklight postcards, which I had taken the pictures in 1961, and I've sold these pictures all around the world to magazines and encyclopedias, and so I donated just for fundraising to the museum. And then Bob put me on the board, and that went on for a while, and now I'm the executive director. I've retired down here. My last job was with Northrop Grumman that built the stealth bomber, and I was a senior microsection technician in the quality control laboratory, and retired down here. At the same time I retired from the military, I was a nuclear medical science officer, captain of the Medical Service Corps. So I decided this is where I'll retire, and I live here in Reed Spring now, and spend most of my time at the museum and then doing our projects.
Well, the museum kind of grows on you. It's just a wonderful energy in here. And then, of course, here behind me, we had shown you there. We kind of grows on you because it becomes our, object here, and so then that's where we still are.
Well, we went to Joplin. The purpose was to present Dr. Jordan to the press. Very briefly, the story is that Bob had his encounter in 1985. He passed his polygraph exam, a sworn statement, laboratory tests. Similar encounter in 1995 in the same area where video was shot that shows similar to what Bob saw 10 years before. In 1998, through the Freedom of Information Act, a military file was released that shows a very similar object to Bob's. But all this was circumstantial evidence and paperwork and stuff until Dr. Gilbert Jordan came in here in August of 2003. And he came into the museum, and finally toward the end of the year he said, I have held and worked with the military object, the one in the file, at Dugway Proving Grounds in Utah. And we said, would you go on record to the press? And he said, yes, I would. So we said, where is a big forum we could present him to the press, because this is an international story. We thought about the press club at Washington, D.C., and then we saw just the timing, availability of rooms for us to go, the February Joplin convention. So we had our press conference, and then, of course, what happened at that was the object apparently has affected the electronics in the safe. So we had a double barrel deal. We had Jordan, who told his story, and then we had actual real-time stuff happen where the safe was messed up 3 days in a row. We came back and we tried to find a way to do some tests. We need sophisticated tests, but we just don't have the funds, and we've actually had doors slammed on our face, literally, at Joplin. And we've had the Southwest Missouri State University. So I figured a way to do a test that we could just see if the object was emitting X-rays, and that's just get dental X-ray film. I built a little, it's a cylinder of cardboard.
Yeah, we've shown.
You showed that?
Yeah, the whole cylinder we showed.
Well, we had X-ray films under it, off the tip of it, around it. Exposures from 30 minutes to 48 hours. So we didn't know what we were going to find. Well, what we found was out of the bottom of the object and the 48-hour exposure, there were 2 X-ray emissions. Not one, not a fog, but 2 distinct emissions. And when you align the film with the object, it seems to fit what we call now the lobes of the object. The object might really be 2 pieces that have fused together, because that's what happened 10 years later. They reported 2 objects coming out.
And meanwhile, Bob White says he knows where his object came from. He wants to know what it is. You may remember late last year we aired a report on White's Museum of the Unexplained in Reed Spring. The centerpiece of the museum is an object White says was blown off of an extraterrestrial or possibly an experimental government aircraft. In the 1980s, White and a friend were driving in Colorado at night when they saw bright lights over the highway. The UFO emitted a small flash of light and took off. White says the light was the object which he recovered. White has passed a polygraph test on his story. Here's the most recent story on the object. The object, over 80% aluminum with rare trace elements and the strength of steel. Bob White found the object. Robert Gibbons, scientist, historian, former aircraft engineer, and director of the Museum of the Unexplained. Dr. Gilbert Jordan, physicist, worked on space and top-secret military weapons projects. Years ago was shown an object recovered by the military. He says appeared very similar to this one.
Well, it had something in the safe and it can't get it out. It won't work.
In February, the three took White's object to the International UFO Congress in Joplin, Nevada, and checked into a suite at Harrah's Hotel. Immediately, magnetic door keys to the rooms did not work, and the three had to keep getting new door key cards. The object was placed in a digital room safe, and the next day, with media in the room waiting to see and photograph it,
I tried the safe 3 times. It worked properly. I placed the object in a safe overnight. When they tried to get it open with a digital computer that they had that they plugged in, it said the safe was open, but it wouldn't open. So they had to drill it.
One of the batteries was found cracked and leaking. Happenstance, you might say, except it happened twice more when the object was placed inside the safe, and hotel personnel had to be called to crack it each time.
We never suspected this until this thing happened at Lawson with the lock situation. Needle moves, and basically there's a different amount of radiation given out from the object.
Some type of emission, perhaps in the X-ray or gamma ray range.
We're trying to see what would have caused this film to be exposed. There's no question that the film has been exposed in some manner.
Another test. The object was placed on unexposed dental X-ray film for 36 hours. There was exposure, apparently, from the object.
Is it theirs? Is it ours? This could have been one of ours. Now we have actually the object doing something. We've got to find out what it's doing, what it is, you know.
And the classified object, Dr. Jordan says he was shown years ago by military officials similar to this one.
I said, do you know what this is composed of? They told me that it was primarily aluminum with some silicon, a little bit of iron, nickel, and some calcium thrown, and some trace materials. I asked, I said, is it radioactive or anything? They said, well, we can't tell you that. I have something here that belongs to the world. This is something I think everyone should know. Extraterrestrial, or is it something that came from this planet, something that our government is working on? I believe we have a right to know that.
Okay, the two operating theories, it came from another world, or perhaps our government made it